Hey guys, what's up? Shadolance back for a review on one of my favorite guns right now. It's pretty OP in my opinion. It's pretty good. Okay, maybe I wouldn't use the word OP to describe it, but it is an extremely good gun. This is the PP2000, a gun that's pretty much one of the most underused guns in the entire game for what it is. It's basically a Magpul that's slightly better. And when I say slightly, I mean it's better than the Banshees, but not a whole lot. But it is better, and it's cooler, and it looks awesome, has an awesome name. And I'm going to include a picture of it here so you guys can see what it is, because I doubt a lot of you have ever even seen this gun. It came out at the same time as the AR-15 double barrel. It's an SMG, and at first there were some issues with it. Just like the AR-15, it seemed to fire 2 shots at once, and no one really knew why. That was patched fairly quickly, but if you go back and you watch Toho Sniper 98's review, his review actually includes when it still fires 2 shots per click, which is kind of weird, but it does. So going into the stats, we have a damage of 36, that's pretty high for an SMG, portability of 85, rate of fire of 90, accuracy of 64, and recoil of 64. I'm going to be comparing it directly to the Magpul FMG9, the regular NX one. Has a damage of 35, portability of 90, so the damage is 1 point higher, but I'm going to be getting into that in a minute. Portability of 90 is still 5 points higher. The rate of fire of 90 is the same. The accuracy of 77 is quite a bit higher than the PP2000 at 64, so it's a whopping more than 11 points higher. It's like, what, 13 points higher? The recoil of 60, however, is also lower. It goes from 60 to 64 under the PP2000, so it's like, what's so much better about the PP2000? It boils down to 3 things. I'm going to get to that for the rest of the review. The first one, like I said before, is the damage. The PP2000 has probably the best damage drop-off of any SMG in the entire game. It's almost assault rifle range. At the entire maximum range of the PP2000, it should not be more than an 8-shot kill unless you're fighting a tanker or, you know, someone that has some sort of defensive gear. But right now, the only way to get the gun is the Mist N+. Obviously not true of the Magpul, so if you're looking for a gun that performs like this, the Magpul is by far the second best. However, the next couple of things that I want to get into is where it really kind of gets interesting. The recoil pattern. Everyone knows the Magpul for having ridiculously low recoil, and which doesn't really make a lot of sense given the fact that all the other stats are already quite good. However, the Magpul has a worse damage drop-off noticeably than the PP2000, and also the recoil is a little bit harder to manage to aim specifically for one spot. It does stay very, very low, and your spread does stay very low, but there are some benefits to having the PP2000 instead. The spread recovery is about the same, however the overall spread does feel like it goes up slower. Although the recoil is higher, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, and I've not been able to figure that out yet, but it does definitely go up slower, which is really, really nice. And the recoil pattern that it particularly has is very, very useful because it almost hands you headshots. It only goes up just slightly enough that where you start aiming, it will give you a headshot almost every single time. It will force you to aim for the head, which is extremely rare, and you don't see it on a lot of guns. The L85 is a series that does do that as well, just a little bit of upward recoil, and it's mostly sideways. PP2000, however, unlike the Magpul, has very, very little sideways recoil, which is really, really good. Overall, it's an excellent gun. You can put a suppressor, and it says you can put a scope on it, but I've tried. You can't put a scope on this thing, so the wiki is actually wrong. And it does have a base ammo capacity 20 of 100, so that's very, very strange. It does have the total 120 shots. However, you only get 20 shots per mag. The reload on this is the fastest in the game for any SMG as well that you might really expect, so yeah, there's that. That really kind of wraps up the review, though. It is an excellent weapon. It will be scoring very highly, and I recommend you renew it if you get it. And I will see you guys in the next review. Shadolance, out.